Mr. Transformers 96 here in the video review. This time I'm going to be reviewing from the Transformers Bumblebee movie, the Bumblebee figure, which is number 18 in the studio series. So this is the first figure to be released from the Bumblebee movie. Dropkick is the only other one that's been shown that is coming out for this movie in the studio series. I hope it doesn't stop there though. Of course, I'd love to see Shatter and Blitzwing. Very much looking forward to the Decepticons. However, Bumblebee was definitely one I wanted to get, especially with his completely new look, and I am quite excited for the movie, I must admit. So going over the actual packaging here, I love the artwork. I think it's very fun. You've got a quite a sassy, very teenage version of Bumblebee there. The backdrop is the garage setting. And then I do like the artwork on the side with him listening to that boombox that is so small, obviously compared to Bumblebee himself. The figure on the back and the rest of the assortment. Was able to find this new series at Target, so I've had a lot of people asking me where I've been finding them. Target is the answer, so absolutely go out, start hunting at your Target to try to find the series. So going over the actual figure here, I do like, of course, that he is in his kind of iconic standard bug. So I do think that that is a nice vehicle for him in this new movie. And the figure himself, as far as the car mode goes, is okay. I like the design of the car mode. I don't have any issues there. My issue is how it tabs together is really pathetic. Most of the tabs are little, like, just two clamps that something goes in between. It's not something, it's not like a rectangle that it fits into. It's just like two clamps. So it's open on one side, which means that the little pegs slips out of it really easily, and therefore, like, it doesn't really peg together well. This is the best that I could get it, and I struggled with it for a long time, but as you can see, there's lots of gaps here. This back section is so hard to get in, and then on the top here, it's hard to do as well. The front tabs in pretty nicely together, but once you get to the middle section, it gets a little finicky, and then the back is extremely hard to actually pop in. So that's annoying. I'm not a fan of how it all comes together. I just wish that it was a stronger, a fit with all the tabs. Here it is from the bottom section. It's pretty compact. You can see his face though, but it's all right. Not too bad. And then on the front, I like the design of the bug though, and then the clear windows are nice, but you can see some pieces in between them. The wheels look very cool. You do have the Volkswagen logos in the hubcaps, which is very nice. So overall, I do like the vehicle. It is very small. It's a very tiny, this is a tiny Transformer in general, and I'll do some size comparisons once I get him into robot mode, but he is smaller than your average Transformer figure. Alright, so let's get B in his robot mode. To start it off, this should be very easy, but just pop open the top section right here. This is the whole backpack piece, just kind of lifts up very easily to detach based on how it's plugged in, so that will not be difficult for you. And then you can just kind of open up the car doors, the windows, and fold the wheels. There we go. Unattach the wheels, and then just fold them onto the doors, just like so. Alright, and then you can split the legs right here. The legs kind of extend like this, so you can take the top section of the leg piece and just bring it forward like that. You can just kind of line up the feet, and then this just kind of sets backwards. Very easy to transform the legs. So, same thing. You just move this front section forward, and then you can bring this just kind of back down to fill out the legs a bit more. You come up here, take the arms, if you can get a good grip on them. Pop them up, just like this. You can flip out the hands and swing it to the side. Same thing on this side. Hold on, get the leg out of the way. Pop up the arms. Oops, yeah, that's something that is an issue, that these hand joints are just on little hinges there, so they do have the tendency to pop off often, which is annoying, but they do pop back on very easily, so that's nice, but it is annoying that they do pop off at all. Then the legs, you just take it from the waist, and you can swivel it forward to get them pointed the proper direction. And then this whole front section swings down, just like this, both sides, and that swings up the little wing kind of section. You can pop that down and then just plug it in just like that. You can just straighten out the arms there. Then the front section is all complete. It's just the backpack section, which folds up like this and folds in, and then you'd want to just get this peg right there, so it pegs in right there. Then this window piece, sorry. There we go. This window piece just folds down like that, and then this folds in. Same thing on this side. Window piece down, fold it in. You can leave it completely sideways like this. I like to leave it pointed back a little bit, give it more of like a wing type of look. And then this back piece section just kind of folds down like that. And then there you go. There you have a Bumblebee in his robot mode. Overall, I think that he does make a nice little robot. I do like him. Let me get the camera set up a little bit so you can get a better view of him. Alright, so fully transformed, here's B. I actually do like this sculpt quite a bit. He looks different than your average Bumblebee figure, basically because of the rounded parts, the rounded edges, which I will demonstrate in more detail once I start comparing him to other Bumblebee figures, but he's got a lot of round pieces on him. The wheels, very round. They're not, usually like when there are like round wheels on Bumblebee, they're structured in like a square area around the wheels, but these are very much rounded, and they're free to show how round they are. And then the rounded edges on the chest up here. He has a lot of round pieces on his knees and around his feet and everything. His hands are cupped very roundly, so he's got a very round look to him, which gives him a softer look, kind of younger look, and not so edgy and kind of strict as the other versions of Bumblebee. So that is something definitely to note. On the backpack, actually, I do like it. I don't think it's terrible. I think that it's a decent backpack. It extends quite far off of his body, but there's a lot happening here, and because of the wings being like natural, the wings are like an important part of his robot mode, so it doesn't just feel like junk back here. It feels like there is some important things here, because I do like the wings and the way that he has like little wing sections at the bottom and wing sections to the top. Very Bumblebee-like, so I actually like that quite a bit. And then again, the rounded edges, the round piece of this car, helps it look more round like a backpack and not just like a big box on his back. So that helps too. So overall, I do like that as well. As far as his colors, I do like the colors. The yellow is very bright and noticeable, which is nice. I like that he does have a few silver pieces at the shoulders, at the shins, at the bottom of the feet. I like the silver a lot. I think the silver is quite nice. I wish that there was more silver and replacing some of the gray pieces. I think that would be cool. And then like some of the black pieces just kind of come out of nowhere. He's got just black on his knees, and then he has black on one arm here, which I believe has to do with his weapon accessory. So it is a little strange. Before I start comparing him, though, here's like some of his features. He does have a swappable helmet piece, so you can just pop off this face piece. The first time that you do it's extremely hard, but after you do it once, it gets easier. And then you can put on like the battle mask, which I do think looks very nice. It's very cool looking. And then he does have a swappable gun arm, which just you pull the entire arm off, and then you can just swap on the gun piece. So I believe that's why it's black, so it fits more in with the gun arm, although it does look a little strange when you don't have the gun in. I'm not a big fan of this gun. I think that it's way too small. Had it been bigger, I think it would be much better. And also when you try to like rotate the bicep, if you're not holding it, if you try to rotate the elbow, if you're not holding it directly at the elbow, it will just kind of pop off, which is annoying. But it's way too small for him. Like if you compare him to the other side, it just looks ridiculous, especially if you go ahead and put this battle axe on. I do like this like battle axe, or not battle axe, but saw kind of knife piece. I like that a lot. That fits in very nicely, and it can go on both sides, which is very cool. But again, like the cannon just looks way too small. The cannon should be bigger than the average arm, and instead it's smaller, which is annoying. I believe, I actually haven't tried this, but looking at it, I don't see why it wouldn't work. Let's try to put them on the same side. Let's see here. Yep, it does work. Now that looks a lot better because it helps bulk up the blaster arm, but it still doesn't look that great. So overall, I'm just not a big fan of that accessory. I just don't think it works very well. But the knife extension piece and then the battle helmet I think look very cool though. It pops right off. But yeah, going over articulation here, he has decent articulation. He has ball-jointed shoulders that are also on a hinge, so they can kind of go up even higher. With the shoulders, try not to display them so far up. I think that he looks worse with the broader shoulders. I think that he doesn't look very young with them. I like to point his arms down a little bit, kind of like this. Maybe even a little bit further. I think that the lower that his arms go, the lower that his shoulders go, the more young he looks, which I think kind of fits his character in this new movie better. He has hinge, which go 90 degrees, swiveling elbows. He has hinge wrists. He has a swivel at the waist section. He has ball jointed hips with a, it's like a, No, it's really just a single hinged knee, and then his ankles do have a little bit of a hinge, but they do have pivots, which is very nice, and the pivots work really well, so I do like that. Overall, his articulation is pretty decent. I will say that the joint at the thighs are a little bit looser than I would have preferred, so when you're posing him sometimes, it can feel like his thighs are a little loose, but he'll always hold a pose, so you don't have to worry about it too much, but the thighs do slide just a little bit easier than they probably should. Doing a little size comparison here, though. Let's compare him with the Age of Extinction one. As you can see, he's just really dwarfed by this. And these are the same scale, so there's just a big difference. There's a massive difference in scale just in general between the new series and some of the older ones, and I'll demonstrate that even further as we go on. But as you can see, there's the same scale, and he's much smaller than the Age of Extinction one. I will say that the shortness of this one fits a little bit better because this Bumblebee, I believe, is supposed to be a little bit shorter than the Bumblebee that we meet in 2007's Transformers, just because it's a younger one. They want him to be slightly more down to level with the actress in the film, so I think that's kind of the reason. So having him be a little bit shorter is fine, but just like it's a decent amount shorter, especially when you compare him to the Dark of the Moon Bumblebee. As you can see, I mean, this looks like they're in totally different scales, and they're not. They're in the same scale. These are both deluxes, and just because of the price increase that has happened, I mean, the Bumblebee on the left there was like 25% cheaper than the Bumblebee on the right, which is just crazy. But yeah, as you can see, quite a big difference in scale. And then this one I'm doing just mainly for the shock value of it, but I mean, these are in the same scale as well. This is the Revenge of the Fallen Bumblebee compared with the new one. It's just ridiculous. Now, I will say that Revenge of the Fallen Bumblebee is quite a big figure. It really is. And Revenge of the Fallen is kind of the peak of the Transformers movie figures for a lot of people, and myself, I would probably say I would probably agree with that. Just Revenge of the Fallen had the best figures, I would say. But as you can see, huge difference there in scale. So it's crazy how much smaller this Bumblebee is compared to a lot of the other ones. But just giving you a comparison as to their looks, again, just like I was saying, you have a lot sharper edges on the other ones. As you can see, like the sharp knee pads, you have sharp feet, you have the really pointy, sharp pieces on the chest. The wheels are outlined, especially over here, in square bits and sharp pieces. The fingers are more pointed and sharp-like. There's a lot more sharp edges going on, rather than the kind of cool, rounded pieces of the new version. So, yeah, that is just a design aspect of the new film and what makes this figure a little bit different. So yeah, so overall, I do actually like this figure. It's so small, but I think that the smallness kind of fits a little bit with the movie. I think this Bumblebee should be smaller than your average Bumblebee figure, but man, just to see the disparity in size compared to the Bumblebees for the past few movies is crazy. It really is. It's a big difference. But overall, this is a pretty decent figure. I like a little bit better when it comes to paint apps. I do like the accessories that it comes with, but I think that the gun should be larger. I think having a little stereo would be awesome. It's so that you can kind of recreate this pose right here when he's holding the stereo. I think that would have been really fun. It's just, he's a small enough figure that I feel like they could have given you more with him, and not, and still met their price range. So overall, I would definitely like to see more with this guy. But I do think that this is a nice figure. I would recommend it only if you want one that's a little bit more in scale, especially if they're going to be doing some of the other figures. So if you want a Bumblebee to kind of pose with Dropkick and the possible Shatter and Blitzwing that we'll eventually get maybe, then this would be a great one for you. But personally, if you just want like a really nice representation of Bumblebee from the new movie, I definitely recommend just waiting and picking up the movie Masterpiece one. That one I'm definitely going to get. I think that looks like a fantastic figure. Very much looking forward to that. But there you go. That's my video review of the Transformers Studio Series Bumblebee figure from the Bumblebee movie. If you want my thoughts on the other figure in this wave, Shadow Rider, I have done a review on him along with Lockdown. I did a double review of those two, so feel free to check that out. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this figure, and thanks so much for watching.